All right, so for this game, we have what is largely a sequencing game. They do throw a bit of a curveball, though. So essentially, we have 7 positions, 7 months that we're going to be working with here. But the thing is, we're told that only given really 5 people that are going to be assigned to these months. So we have Q, R, S, T, and U. Now, the way that the basic setup is worded, they do tell us that each agent will be trained in a different month, which certainly suggests that everybody only goes once. Because first of all, we definitely know that we can't have people in the same month together, but moreover, if each agent will be trained in a different month, that would kind of suggest only 1 month. So if that's the case, that would mean that then there are 2 blanks on the board, right? We have 7 elements, 5 people, so 2 of these are going to be empty. There is a certain ambiguity here as to whether some people can go more than once. The language certainly suggests that everybody goes just once, but I guess you might want to keep that in mind as you go through the rules or the questions. If something breaks or if something doesn't seem to make sense, it might be that assumption might be questionable, but it does seem pretty safe to say that everybody's going to go once. Let's take a look. So the first rule says that month 6 is one of the months in which none of the agents is trained. So 6 has to effectively be empty, which certainly at the very least confirms that at least some of these spaces will definitely be empty. Next, we're told that U is trained earlier than R, so U is before R. Next, Q has to be in the month immediately before T. So essentially, we're going to have, I guess if we have everybody going once, then we're just going to end up with a QT block. And it's actually even worth noting that rule, the way it's worded, Q is trained in the month immediately before the month in which T is trained. When you're referring to the month, that suggests that there's really just 1 month in which T is trained. So that further kind of reinforces that assumption that everybody goes exactly once. And lastly, we're told that S has to be the 3rd agent, so I guess we can say S has to go into 3. And that's actually kind of powerful, isn't it? Because, if S has to go 3rd, that means that our QT block can really only go into either 1 and 2 or into 4 and 5. So that would be pretty good. In fact, because that's a good chunk of our board, what we'll do is we'll exhaust the game based on that. So we can say we have 2 possibilities to play here. Either we're going to have QT in 1 and 2, or we're going to have QT in 4 and 5. And then from there, all that really remains to work with is U and R, which are going to take up 2 of the 3 remaining spots in that relative order. And then there's going to be a blank somewhere else on the board. So I guess we can't do much more. So let's take a look at the questions. So the first question we do here is, as usual, our exclusion question, and we do these by the original rules. So the first rule was that the 6th month had to be empty. So going through the answer choices, it looks like answer choice B certainly violates that. So we can get rid of answer B from our options. Next, U is supposed to go before R. So A looks okay, C looks good, D looks good as well. E has U in the 7th position, which certainly wouldn't work. So answer choice E is out. Next, we're supposed to have that QT block. So Q has to go in the month before T. So answer choice A has Q and T in 1 and 2, which is certainly fine. Answer choice C has Q and T in 1 and 3. Actually, so that wouldn't work because you'll notice that there's a blank in between them. So we certainly can't do that. Answer choice C gets disqualified. Q and T are supposed to be in consecutive months. And then answer choice D certainly has Q and T, so that's fine. Next, S is the 3rd agent to be trained. So answer choice A, actually, so this is curious. So answer choice A, you'll notice that S there is in fact the 3rd agent to be trained, although he's in month number 4. And actually, if you double check the rule, it doesn't actually, it looks like we made a mistake here. So it doesn't actually say that S is in the 3rd month. Rather, it says that S is the 3rd agent, which, for example, in answer choice A, where month 4 has Shaw, but he's still the 3rd agent, that actually seems like it could work. And we're probably going to have to adjust our setup here. So we said S is in 3. That's not quite accurate. So we can adjust this to say S has to be the 3rd agent. And we know that number 6 is definitely empty, so we can only really have 1 more empty slot on the board. So the thing is, though, if we do have an empty slot before S, that means that S might get pushed into the 4th position now, right? So we can have something, for example, like QT and then an empty slot in number 3, and then you could have an S. That would mean that S would still be the 3rd agent, even though he's not in the 3rd position. So we had this as the original kind of exhaustive set, but we're going to have to adjust that because we're going to have to line up another scenario here, because now we can say that S could actually go into the 4th position. And from there, well, actually, so now we can actually do a lot more damage in this last scenario, because in this last scenario, the QT block can't really go anywhere between 5 and 7, which means it's going to have to go somewhere between 1 and 3. But moreover, wherever the QT block goes between 1 and 3, the remaining slot is actually going to have to be empty, because if we had another person here, if we had 3 different people in 1, 2, and 3, then S would not have been 4th, which means in these 3 positions, you're basically going to end up having QT and a blank. So either the blank's going to go first, followed by QT, or you're going to have QT and then followed by a blank. So what we can do is we can say that in these 3 positions, we'll basically have to have a QT / a blank, which now further means we only have U and R to play with, and there's only 2 spaces left, which means U and R are going to have to go into positions 5 and 7 respectively. So this is actually pretty good. This 3rd scenario does give us a bit more variability for the game, but it's actually a pretty tightly constrained 3rd scenario. So I guess going back to the question itself, so the question asked what could be the complete setup. Now S had to be the 3rd agent. So answer choice A does in fact work. We could have S go into month 4 and be the 3rd agent as it is. Answer choice D, on the other hand, you'll notice that S is in month number 3, which wouldn't have worked, simply because there's only 1 person before you. So it might have been in 3, but there's not 2 people before it. So we can get rid of D, and that leaves us with answer choice A to be the only viable answer for question number 1. I guess from here, let's take a look at question 2. Actually, before that, so just to kind of make a bit of a point here, this is partially the reason that when you do the exclusion question, try to always go back to the original text, because you might notice something about kind of the application of the text that you didn't notice before, and it might give you an opportunity to adjust things. So in this case, yeah, it gave us a nice opportunity to kind of fix that misinterpretation of that last rule. Anyways, question number 2. If T is not trained in month number 2, then which of the following could happen? So if T is not in the 2nd month, well, that effectively means that T will have to not, like this scenario right here is not going to work. So either we're going to be in this scenario where T is in 5, or we could still be in this scenario, but T wouldn't be in 2, so T would have to go into 3. Let's see what we can do with that information. So answer choice, the question asks which of the following could be true. Answer choice A. Q is in 1. Could we have Q in 1? Well, no, because even in this scenario, if we could have Q in 1, T would end up in 2, and that would violate the rule of the question, so A is out. Next, R is in 5. Well, you'll notice that in these 2 scenarios, R wouldn't be in 5, so answer choice B is out. Answer choice C, S is in 4. And actually, maybe in this scenario, which we said was viable, we could have had S in 4, so we can hold on to answer C. Answer choice D, U is in 4. And no, that wouldn't work in either one of these scenarios, so D is out. And answer choice E, nobody is in 3. And, well, this maybe could have been an empty, but that would have forced QT into 1 and 2 with T in 2, and that goes against the rule of the question. So E is out as well. The best answer to question number 2 then is answer choice C. Next. Now, question number 3 is our next local question. Let's take a look. If S goes into the 4th month, well, if S is in month number 4, that pretty much locks us into this scenario right here. So we're in a pretty good position. Let's take a look. The question asks what must be true. A, Q is in 1, and it doesn't have to be. It could be, but it could also shift into 2. Q is in 2, same problem. It could also go into 1. Answer choice C, nobody is in 3. I mean, that could be true, but your blank could also go first, so that's out. Answer choice E, U is in 5, and in fact, yes, we definitely know that U would have to go into 5. So that is a viable answer choice. Answer choice E, nobody is in 7, and no, we definitely have R in 7. So the best answer choice remains as D for question number 3. Next, question number 4. Which of the following could be the month in which we have U? So where could we have a U? Well, I guess let's take a look. Answer choice A. Could we have U in month number 2? Well, in this scenario over here, we could have perhaps placed a U in 1. Well, actually, sorry, a U in month number 2. Could we place a U in the second month? Well, if U goes here, then P would have gone into number 7. Actually, we could have done a little bit more damage in this scenario. We missed a bit of a deduction. So the thing is, S was not just in 3, it was third, right? So in this scenario, that means that we can't have a blank in 1 or 2. So if we can't have a blank in either of these positions, U and R rather, would have to go into positions 1 and 2, which means in this scenario, it would be 7, which is the blank. So now we can kind of go back to that question. The question asks, could the U go into the second month? And it looks like it can't. There's no scenario where U would have been able to go into month number 2. So A is out. B, could U go into month number 3? No, you'll notice that there's never a possibility for you to go into that third month. B is out. Could it go into the 4th month? Well, in this scenario, that actually might be okay. If we put a U over here, P can go into 5 or 7, so maybe. Answer choice D, month number 6 is empty, so that's definitely not going to work. And month number 7, no, because U has to go before R. So the best answer to number 4 then becomes answer choice C. Next, number 5. Which of the following is a month in which an agent must be trained? So when do we have to have somebody? I guess let's take a look. Answer choice A, month number 1. Well, no, we know that in this scenario, we could have an empty in the first month, so that we don't have to have somebody there. Answer choice B, month number 2. And actually, yeah, in these two, we obviously have somebody there. But in this scenario, whether we run QT in 1 and 2 or we run QT in 2 and 3, there would definitely be one of Q or T in the second month, which means that there has to always be somebody in month number 2.